Hi guys, it's Kelly. Welcome to my channel, and there is something that I must share with you before I share this next video, which is a big one. As I restart my YouTube channel, I want to make sure that you all know where I'm coming from. I'm committed to being transparent, authentic, and genuine, and that's what you're going to get. The title of this next video is "My Husband Left Me," and he did. I am divorced, and that's why it's been such a long period of time since I have been on YouTube, because I couldn't post anything on social media while I was going through my divorce. This is my story. This is not about my ex-husband. This is about me and what happened to me. While my ex-husband has done things wrong and made mistakes, he is in a category of many, because we all have done things wrong. We all have made mistakes. I know that I have. My ex-husband is a beloved child of God. I am a Christ follower, and Jesus was asked, what is the most important commandment? And Jesus said, love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love God, love your neighbor. Love. Jesus was about love. As I go through sharing this story, that's what God has called me to, is love. Although I've been hurt by my ex-husband and his actions, I'm called to love. And while I'm about to share this story of how my husband betrayed me and devastated me, I share it in a spirit of forgiveness, not a spirit of condemnation. This is not about pointing out somebody who's done something wrong and vilifying him for it. I'm not about that. I have healthy boundaries, and my ex-husband will never again have a part of my life because of his actions, because of how he treated me while we were married, how he left me, and after he left me during the divorce process. Actions have consequences, and one of the consequences to his action is that he will never be a part of my life again, and I forgive him. Forgiveness doesn't mean that it's okay. What he did to me was not okay, but forgiveness is saying that I release myself from him. It's an act of freeing myself from what happened to me. Psychology Today says that forgiveness is freeing ourselves of anger and resentment, but it doesn't mean necessarily reconciliation. Forgiveness means freedom for the victim. According to Psychology Today, forgiveness is vitally important for the mental health of the victim because it propels them forward through the trauma rather than staying stuck in the trauma. Forgiveness is shown to elevate mood, to contribute to positive attitude, to help with stress, to alleviate depression and anxiety. Aside from forgiving him for my own mental health and well-being, I forgive him out of obedience. Jesus, God's Son, came to earth, lived, and died for the sins of the world because he loved them so much. Because of sin, we cannot have a relationship with God. It keeps us separate and apart from him. Jesus took the punishment of the sins of everyone when he died on the cross. It was the ultimate sacrifice so that I can, and you, and whoever wants to, can have a relationship with God by claiming what Jesus did for us on the cross. Since my husband left, I have been growing in my relationship with God, and it has brought me so much peace and joy like I cannot even explain. It's beyond my understanding. It is a real thing that I live day in and day out in my relationship with God. It's not something that I'm blindly believing. I'm not just blindly following somebody else. I really live it day in and day out, this relationship with God that is real and sometimes hard. Jesus does not fail me. People do, my ex did, and I fail myself sometimes, but God does not, and that's a pretty incredible thing. Everything I've ever done has been forgiven. And because God forgives me with Jesus' sacrifice, how can I not forgive somebody else who's also made mistakes? I know the incredible feeling it is to be forgiven. Jesus asked me to forgive, not say it's okay, not invite that person back in my life, but to forgive. And I can do that. And as I've done it, at first, it was very hard. And I did it sometimes begrudgingly, because why would I let my ex-husband off the hook? I can say that as I was able to learn more about forgiveness and I truly was able to have that forgiveness in my heart, there was this lightness that came with it. It's a freedom that I just can't explain. They say that resentment and anger is drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And I have had resentment and anger toward my ex-husband. It was not affecting him one bit. It was only hurting me. When I chose to forgive him, that helped me. Forgiveness has only benefited me. It doesn't feel good to be devastated. It doesn't feel good to be betrayed, and it doesn't feel good to have somebody hurt you, and it doesn't feel good to hold that anger inside at that hurt and be resentful. It's toxic. It's a toxic thing. Only by finding the courage to forgive him is where I gave myself the biggest gift. That weight was able to come off my shoulders. I'm not saying it was easy. Sometimes something happens and I have to forgive again, or something reminds me and it hurts, and I say, okay, I forgive him. I do not have condemnation for my ex. I'm not here to point out what he did. While I am talking about what he did, I'm talking about it for the purpose of talking about what's happened to me. I'm going to be sharing about how it affected me and how I was able to overcome it, how I worked through it. And I feel like that is a very powerful story to share, because not only is it me sharing my voice and saying, look, this happened, but also I feel really passionately about other people not feeling alone. I could very easily leave this part out when I come back to YouTube and just move on to something else. It would be a lot easier for me. It's very vulnerable, and I do it because I hope that there's somebody out there who is going through this that will feel less alone and feel more empowered, and they'll watch my story and they'll say, oh, this happened to her, this also happened to me. And not in a who's got it worse comparison type of way, because what we learned with Teddy Roosevelt, that comparison does not bring joy. It's more so to say, oh, I identify with her, and to have this deep level of understanding between us because we share similar stories. To be able to have compassion for each other coming together is powerful. And so I am here very vulnerably laying out my story because of the person that is going through it right now, or who has gone through it and is still struggling with it. Not because I have something negative to say about my ex-husband, or to say, oh, look at him, what did he do? I could just very well stand on top of that rooftop where I condemn somebody else and condemn myself because I've done wrong things as well. My whole purpose in life is to bring glory to God and to reflect Jesus. And to do that, it involves forgiveness, and it also involves honesty. Being able to finally share my voice and finally say, this is my story, this is what happened. I can't wait to share that with you, because I want you to know me. I want you to know what I've been through. It's not just me that's been through this. If you have been left by your husband, by your wife, you're not alone in having walked through such a hard time and trying to figure out how to navigate it. It's painful. When this happened to me, I got on YouTube and I just wanted somebody to talk to me who understood what I was going through. Maybe give me some advice, but also just so I knew somebody else experienced what I experienced and understand what I understood. I'm putting out a video on what to do. Your husband, your wife has just left you. Somebody I knew who had gone through something similar said to me, Kelly, keep your head up and know that it gets better. Those words, keep your head up, it gets better, would run through my head a lot. There is a light at the end of this. You will get through this, and you don't have to do it alone. If you've gone through this, please share your story, because somebody else needs to hear your story too. We are not what somebody else did to us. We're more than that. Don't let anybody else tell you what your story is. Don't let anybody else tell you what you're thinking, tell you what you're feeling. Believe in yourself. Trust your gut. You know who you are. Don't let anybody tear you down. You have a voice and a story that should be heard. You have value. You have inherent worth. Thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous for it, but I am being brave and taking a leap of faith. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.